Welcome to the Archotechs, a RimWorld fluid ideology series about pursuing the Archonexus. Episode 37, Suppression and Sacrifice. To briefly recap, last episode, we spent a lot of the time just crafting, trying to get our wealth up, and it shows we have quite the spike. We had hunted some thrumbo, and we're currently in the process of turning them into clothing. And then, at the very end, we invited two guests to join us. They have since been renamed. They are here for 23 days, and they don't work. They just recreate all day long. So, let's put them on the recreation schedule. What I'm hoping to do this episode is to get a few more of the quests for the Relic of Suppression under our belt, now that we don't have such a large prison and slave population that we're going to need to suppress. Also, I'm going to enable the fine meal designation again, and I'm going to set up our brand new guest for fine meals now. So fine and simple meals, I'm going to change to fine meals only, and then the guests will eat the fine meals. My trio will eat lavish. And then everybody else nutrient paste. So lavish only, I'll just rename to lavish or lavish meals. Fine meals, and we're all set. We do have a bit of plague here, and I think I'm going to need to next tend with industrial tech medicine because the immunity is really falling behind. One of the things I have researched, or have not rather researched yet, is hospital bed and vitals monitor, which would help in this situation. So that might be something I want to get done. We have a whole lot of packaged survival meals, and part of the reason for these packaged survival meals is to try to use up some of the meat that was in our stockpile, but it will also be a very useful thing for when we're traveling, when we have to go out on the map tile and get things done. So we do have some bionic eyes left to install, but the problem is with Trustin out with the plague, I can't really spend any time installing it into Sven because, well, I have no surgeon. Bunny, however, can definitely get the eye installed in her. So, once she goes to sleep, I'm going to set her up with a bit of surgery. I do have a slate cutting queue going on, but unfortunately, because I've sold off a lot of my slaves, I don't really have any slaves able to run block cutting, or at least not yet, not at the moment. Alright, so here we are, high quality tending for both Slave 1 and Trustin. And Fairy actually trying to cheer Trustin up. So about these guests here. The greedy, staggeringly ugly chemical interest is in a minor amount of pain, and then Fairy, the gourmand kind great memory, is in a decent amount of pain, and that's probably going to be the two biggest factors on their mood. The other thing I need to consider is that Bunny here has a harmonizer, so keeping her happy is very important, because if she's upset, everybody becomes upset very, very quickly thereafter. So these slightly impressive bedrooms should be enough for my guests. They're temporary bedrooms. They're not great. I realize this. But hopefully they're enough. So Slave 2 should be catching up on immunity, and seems to be, which is good. Very important. Our statue hallway filling up to a honestly ridiculous degree. And most of the meat is now been processed into Packer survival meals so that it does not spoil. We're nearly done with that. Slave 1 has been doing a really good job. And we have a mech hive. Now, these mech hives might be connected to the current quest. No, this is a different mech hive. These are breachers. So, a little reminder that bringing on these 2 royals are going to gain the attention of 2 mech clusters, but this is not a cluster. Looking at this group, there are no brawlers in this group, so shield belt tanking is going to be quite effective. I'll start Buddha and Slave 1 on a northbound trip. And then another thing I'm going to want to do is to get my remaining shooters equipped with the Masterwork sniper rifles. And I'll probably also make use of an Insanity Lance, I suspect. The reason being, this is a lot of attackers or not a lot of defenders. And I have a lot of Insanity Lances just sort of sitting around. So I might as well use them now when it seems like I could use them and need them. So what I'm hoping to do is to snipe out the termites so that the termites can't access anything. There's also Psycasts to consider. But because I don't have skip, Psycasts are a little difficult to make use of. What I could try to do is get Bunny to turn one of these Lancers on the rest. And currently only unfortunately the one I turned was a, that's not going to be that helpful. So here we go. Let's go ahead and hit them with an Insanity Lance. I'm going to hit the large mech with an Insanity Lance. So the reason to hit this centipede here is that these 2 Infernos can't do damage to it. So it gives me the opportunity to have the Infernos tied up basically until this one gets destroyed. So I'm more or less just pitting 2 centipedes against one another while I snipe out the rest of them. Which is a fairly effective way of controlling this group here. So now with the termite. And the other thing I want to do is to stick everybody that isn't currently in combat inside for their own protection, mostly. And then we'll take a look. 4 hours and 4 hours until next tending. Now it is possible to use the Royal Deplorable Guests to help defend me. But I wasn't actually planning on doing that because if they become wounded or die, I fail. Why is this Inferno coming after me? I don't know. Oh, it was just repositioning. Alright, Zleb. I actually don't know why I didn't include Zleb in the original combat. I think because I lack the sniper rifle? Yeah, I don't have another sniper rifle. So, everybody stays inside for right now. And this centipede here is going to inevitably take out the damaged one. So let's try to get as much damage on this centipede, which isn't berserked, as possible. Getting ready for when they lose berserk. Any volley now, and the berserked one will get decommissioned. It's hanging in there, surprisingly. Our snipers might actually outpace... Oh, our snipers outpaced it. So at this point, there's literally no way to fail this. We can just snipe the remainder at our leisure because these two centipedes can never win this fight, and then this centipede can't lose. So it's just basically waiting for the centipedes to destroy one another. However, it is pretty good accuracy training, so I don't mind if I do take some shots. That, and I don't want, if destroying them spawns components, I don't want the components to burn up. Plasteel won't burn, but components could. So now we're just down to 1. That was a very effective incendiary lance, I'd say. And we are done. Reschedule to go outside. And then I think pretty soon we will have the... Yes, in about half an hour we'll have the retending of our patients. Alright, slave 2. I'll tend to you first, and then tend to trust him. So now that that fight's over, my plan is to hit up one of the ancient complexes tomorrow. I'll be going with probably Zleb and Bunny, which means I'm not going to wait for Bunny's new eye to get installed. I'll just wait until everything is over. Oh, here comes a bulk goods trader. Fantastic. And let's get the machining table back on so that we can shred these mechanoids into their constituent parts. Taking a look at the wealth here, 294k. All right, Trustin is over his plague. The other thing I could do, if slave... Okay, slave 2 seems fine. 14% above succumbing. That's not much of an issue at all. So let's go ahead and have Sven do some bulk goods trading. At this point, I don't think it would be a terrible idea for me to take on 2 additional horses, selling Bries. I think that's probably the right call. Horses can be ridden on Caravan for a faster bonus than donkeys. They are the fastest animal on Caravan, or one of the fastest animals. It's tied for being one of the fastest. So that's why I'm switching my beast of burden. And then I'll go ahead and sell some of the damaged Thrumbo. And it looks like that's basically the entire budget. So if there's anything else that I want to buy, I should buy it now, because they're not going to be able to afford much else. I could buy wood, cloth. I could sell vegetables, but they're not rotting in the field anymore, so I don't feel the need to do that. So this trade is good. I'm also going to... I was considering donating to them, but I'm not going to. Because I have no idea if they're going to be part of the Archonexus in the future or not. I don't want to waste my wealth on people that won't be part of the Archonexus. So if we take a look here. Both of these installations are set up. Let's go to the older one, which is here. So I'm going to form a caravan. I'm going to bring Bunny and Zleb. We'll bring a pack of survival meals. So I'm going to have to set up a food designation that includes pack of survival meals for our travelers. I'll bring some potatoes and corn for the animals. And then all that I need left is maybe beds. Although we have rough living due to pain is virtue. So let's just send with that. All right, looks good. So a new food designation. Travel. Travel is going to be any meal at all. Packets of raw meals are fine too. And, oh, I have to travel. Let's delete this one. Well, the old travel meals are fine. They don't include nutrient paste, so they'll work. So that was Bunny and Zleb. One of the bonuses that Bunny has as a result of her nuclear stomach is she really doesn't need to eat very much. So I can pack even less food than I normally would, and it won't really have a negative effect. Pretty positive boon, I think. And there we go. And as proof, the horses here have a caravan bonus of 160%. Whereas dromedaries, for instance, have a caravan bonus of 130. Donkeys, this one being Bryce, is 130. The only other creature that I know of off the top of my head that has a 160 would be Thrumbo. And there we go. Flying towards the complex. No problem at all. I brought kind of an excess of food. No one could argue that Sven would be better suited for the complex because the complex requires hacking, but I think in this case I'd prefer to send Bunny and Zleb because Sven is researching for us back home, researching marine armor, which takes a while. And no luck with the ridiculous amount of masterworks. Still no legendary, which is surprising, I suppose. And here we are at the ancient complex. So let's quickly analyze. I don't see any of the green consoles glowing through the walls. So I'm going to pick an arbitrary spot to start. And then Bunny is the only one that can construct. So Zleb's basically just here for combat backup. Or maybe some hacking. And taking a look, neither of them are tired or moody or needing to eat. Mare 1 is indeed pregnant. I actually bought the pair because they would breed, and that might allow me to get more animals. All right. I discovered a terminal about the relic of suppression. All right, I will have Zleb hack it while Bunny searches more of the facility. I like how I have to sit on an ancient bed to hack this terminal. Just the way it was laid out. Nothing here. The reason I'm breaking these walls is a lot of these ancient complexes will have fuel nodes that explode on fire. And if you don't break the walls like I've been doing, you can end up superheating the rooms. Oh, I should not have entered like that. And then if you end up superheating the rooms, what ends up happening is everything sets on fire and your people could be hurt. So it's best if you just break them like this. So here's another little terminal. And if we take a look here at this complex, there's 4 terminals total. This security crate here will probably summon enemy troops if I interact with it. So that's not something I want to do until I'm ready to go, if ever. Depends on the risks versus the rewards. For the people back home, let's see. I'm going to have all of my current people at home hunt. So it looks to me like my crops are being eaten by emus and ostriches. I don't much like that. Don't care for that. And they want revenge. Let's just make sure that this revenge... Oh, they're already both down. Perfect. Okay. 2/4 or half of the consoles have been hacked. Let's continue searching the complex. Now, there's other things that I can get from a complex such as this one. All of the carpets can be pulled up, and that could yield resources. Everything that you see here, the steel, the blocks, they all could be taken. Some things aren't really worth taking, in my opinion, like the blocks. They're not that expensive. They're not hard to make. But the cloth from the carpets often is worth it. So here we have a room with mega spiders and a centipede and a lancer, which is funny because they'd be natural enemies, so I have no idea why they're in a room together. But I don't need to really go in there and bug them. So I'm just going to avoid it. So here's a comms console that drops a supply cache on this map tile. And again, this calls in enemies. So it's something that you want to wait to do, probably. And then I also periodically zoom out and claim all the doors, so I own them. Okay, looks to me like at this point I ought to go around. Got some Luciferium. And here's the last console. I'm going to leave this last console for Zleb to hack, because Bunny is going to continue to break down to see if there's any hidden resources here, which there doesn't seem to be. Looks like this is the back wall. Yeah, this is a back wall. That door does not lead to anywhere, as you can see. Okay. Well, now that we're hacking the last terminal, we could leave, or we could call in supplies. And I'm going to hack to call in supplies, even though it signals enemies. Because I think we could take out the enemies. And then we can also do the same thing for the security crates. So pods have arrived of Megasloth wool. There it is. And then the thug crew picked up on the signal and is attacking. They're attacking with a smoke launcher and a revolver. So really nothing all that dangerous. All right, this skill trainer for animals came out of the security crate, and it signaled some infestations. So I'm going to dodge the infestations. Now, if I wanted to leave, I could either clear all the threats from this map tile or exit to the green edge of the map. Either will work. I think this security crate is likely not one I'm going to want to open. I'm going to leave it alone. So if I do exit to the edge of the map, one of the things I'm going to need to do in order to actually get the stuff that belongs to me is to pick up the wool manually. So here we go. All of the insects are now awake and hostile. And Zleb needs to finish that hack. Nope, guess I'm not finishing the hack right now. Alright, so the thug crew is fleeing. They got overwhelmed by the bugs. Bunny is going to use some psycasting power to turn the bugs upon one another, making it far easier for me to kill them off. And I could walk to the edge of the map tile now. I don't need to go collect my horses. But I would want to get that last piece of intel from the console. So I kind of jumped the gun here. But hey, fighting's fun. Let's also hit Marksman Command, allowing Bunny to be even more accurate and shoot faster. Or aim faster, I should say. Using good old-fashioned berserks. Have them all turn on one another. Should be relatively simple to clean up. All that really matters is that Bunny stays within the orange marksman command bubble for the bonus. And I believe that is almost all the bugs. Let's make sure to finish them off so they can't get back up after their injuries. The Thug Crew, which is the raid that called in from the security crate or the comms console for the wool, has since left. So Zaleb, I want you to go back to hacking the terminal. Bunny, you're going to go get the Megasoft wool and then finish up the bugs. Back here at home, things are looking pretty dirty, so I'm going to high prioritize clean for tomorrow. So there we go. Everything has been hacked and done. The Thug Crew is coming in now. Yet another crew of thugs. So what I'm going to do is force this door open and purposely wake up the centipede. Wow, if I could hit. Which I cannot. What I wanted to do is wake up the centipede so that this new group of raiders have to fight the centipede. But instead, what I could do is just leave the map tile. So I'll show you how to bail early, going to the green zones. So once we exit to the green zones, the horses that we have here are automatically going to exit with us so that we don't have to pack a caravan or anything like that. And you'll see that in motion in just a second here. So Zaleb has left the area, formed a caravan. Your animals are moving to join it. So if we take a look here, the mare and the stallion also exited when we exited. So we're done. And we have brought with us the wool, the luciferium, the animal trainer, the joy wire, all the stuff that we found in that facility. Given how that was such a resounding success and really wasn't that difficult, let's go ahead and go to the other ancient complex so that we complete all of the intel that we need for the relic of suppression. Seems pretty reasonable. Chelsea and Fairy look very happy, which is great. Does not look to me like I'm going to have... Whoa, legendary pants. Does not look to me like I'm going to have any issues with them being unhappy and leaving early or anything like that. The only issue that I foresee is that I complete the Archonexus before their 23-day stay, and they leave as a result because there's, you know, I fail because we finish early. That's entirely plausible. Now that we have no meat in the stockroom here, I'm going to suspend the pack of survival meal crafting because we no longer are running out of room for that. And then slave one here, slave one here is going to be not sit up to clean because they are a cook and I'd like them butchering and like. Also looks like I am out of stones to cut for sculptures. Yep, I am out of stones. So No Luck is cutting stones for Trustin's meditation throne. And as soon as I see No Luck go back to work, I can do production command. The other thing I might be able to do to speed this up is put slate chunks here. So mech corpses, I'm not going to rename it, but I'm also going to include slate chunks. That way, if a hauler is freed up, they can just haul slate for me. Ooh, I didn't realize that this Devil Strand field got torched. Thankfully, I have a lot of double strands, so it's not going to be missed. So here's the other ancient complex. We're going to go do this one much the same way. Straightforward, fast, easy. Taking a look at Bunny. Rest is going to be an issue, I think. So I might not over-explore this because I don't want her to become upset. Because that will rub off. Okay, that is a room to avoid. Yep. So in here, the pods. These pods have ancient soldiers in them. And what can end up happening is there are some ways to trigger the pods to open. Uh-oh. I wanted to break this steel wall and went in the wrong way. And now these mechanoids are going to want to break out. I don't think Zleb has enough time to finish that up. So let's just leave that one for now. Yeah, here they come. Now, Bunny does have call aid. So I'm just going to call aid in. And really not have to deal with this myself. That's what those royal favors are for, after all. Making short work of dangerous situations when you can't be bothered. The Trooper Squad is not a particularly strong aid. Obviously, the aid of a Cataphract Squad is a lot more powerful. So that's why I call it in the weak aid, because it's not a big deal. I can burn it. It doesn't really change that much of the tide of battle. So we've discovered all 3 of the ancient terminals that I need. My aide has quickly dispatched these mechanoids. And then the other thing I might be able to do if the aide sticks around is to have them then fight... Here, let me do this. Have them then fight the security crate people that want to show up and take the security crate. And I'm going to do the same thing with the comms console. Hang in there, Bunny. So here's the supply drop. It is insect jellies. And because Bunny's in a bad mood, I'm going to have her consume some insect jelly and then go to sleep. Insect jelly is a recreation type. Interestingly, no enemies showed up from the supply drop. That can happen. It's not always. Marauder camp. A great chief sent us a message, wants us to clear camp guarded by 10 pirates, and is willing to gift us stuff. I think for the effort, none of this is really worth it. Assault rifles I can easily make, as I can make the bionic legs. Plasteel, we already have a drill point for it, so pass. More effort than it's worth. So this is the last console that needs hacking. I'll still probably want to poke around. Oh, here we go. I'm going to need to get out of the way. But the ancients woke up. Oh, don't break that. Yes, drop your... Whoa! Chain shotgun. Scary. Luckily, Nito got within point blank. Hey, you. You don't have legs. I was gonna say I could make you into a slave, but you're a man without legs. So... yeah, I'm not really gonna worry about that. That's not my problem anymore. I could strip your clothing off, though. All right, Bunny, I have to wake you up early because we are getting ready to leave this map tile. So here's an example of... Get out of there quick. Here's an example of a fuel node going nuclear. You got to be careful about that because they can and will go nuclear sometimes. And that's why I break in. And let's see. This fuel node is going up too. It would have been safer for me to have triggered the fuel node and not open the hermetic crate. So here is the thug crew coming in, seeing that I have finished hacking and they want a piece of it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get whatever's in this hermetic crate and then just get out. I'm not going to worry about that joy wire because I think it's already gone. It already burned up. Back home, we had a bit of a fire. Gonna have Sven wake up, put it out. And pretty soon, my royal escorts here are gonna be overwhelmed. Oh, chem fuel? Yeah, let's just get out. So it is officially time to leave. Walk into the edge of the map with all the loot that I have. And we'll bounce. And now I have found the relic of suppression. So the next step is to just making sure, oh, I need there's the stallion. So now that I have identified the relic of suppression, I think I want Sven to go get it. Because Sven is hypersensitive, which means that he is particularly good at infiltrating the relic of suppression, or rather a relic site. So we'll get him going on that. God, that bouncing around looked very funny. And the bunny needs to come home and just recreate and relax. So I'm going to have Sven wait until the horses are home. And let's reduce the clean priority so that we can get back to farming. So in 2.5 days, the security threats activate at the relic site. So it is a bit time sensitive. You can go after the 2.5 days. It just becomes a little bit harder. And I also forgot to unrestrict my slaves. There we go. There was so much cleaning to be done in the base that they weren't even idle until just now. And there's 2 beds for my horses, which are going to need to be unloaded. So the stallion is the one I want to take because pregnant animals move a bit slower. So I'm just forcibly unloading. And then let's get Sven to hop on the stallion, because the mare, of course, as I said, is pregnant. Take 7 vegetarian pack of survival meals, which is so much more than needs. A little bit of meds, and that's it. Oh, and some potatoes for the horse. Change the meals around, so Sven is on travel. Bunny is back on lavish. Zleb is back on fine. And now Sven will head on out. Should be very fast. Bunny's getting her psi focus back up, having been away from the base for a bit. And I'm sort of curious what will happen to my wealth once I get home from the relic site. So here it is. This is what a relic site looks like. It is this facility here, and when you approach, the mechs get a little fussy, which is why I sent Sven, who can go invisible. So I'm going to leave this door forced open. I'm going to approach the site. Looks like it's just the one pikeman. I'm going to cast invisibility on me. The duration of my invisibility depends on my hypersensitivity. So now I'm invisible. I grab the wand. I'm remaining invisible for 7 more seconds, and I can walk out. Easily, I could kill this pikeman. It wouldn't be much of an issue at all. But there we are. The Relic of Suppression completed with almost no effort at all. Let's see. Trustin, I want you to build the throne. And then the other thing I'm going to need is a reliquary. So I'm going to do a slate reliquary. And this is a spot to put the relics that we've obtained. And for that, I need to actually physically create a spot on the map where I can physically put it. So we'll get that going. Need a meditation spot. Oh, Chelsea needs a meditation spot. Okay. Sure, you can meditate here. I had totally forgotten that she herself is also a Psycaster. Only with the ability to stun. But I'm going to set her Psi Focus to 0 so that she doesn't spend time meditating, because that might upset her. Fairy is a freeholder, so with no Psycast ability. Bunny, now that you're sleeping, I will set up that install eye. So it is your left eye. And then I'm also going to pivot no luck off of construct to craft stone blocks instead. Because I don't want no luck building the meditation throne. The meditation throne is quality dependent. Sven ought to be home very, very soon. The slaves are hauling some of the last mechanoids and plasteel that we obtained. And I'm going to get Trustin to start working on the expansion of our throne room first. So here's Sven with the Relic of Suppression. And let's unload. So the Relic of Suppression is a legendary quality Archotechs staff. And this is determined by our ideology here. There's 3 suppression relics. All 3 are Archotechs staves that that we hold in high regard. I guess the best way to put it. So I'm going to need some fine slate floors for this. So very briefly, this throne room is going to be ugly or not dignified. But with a little bit of slate and slate block cutting, we'll get this up to snuff. Let's see, no luck is making the last set of blocks that we need for that floor. Great. And now we have a spot to put the reliquary. So until then, we have this Relic of Suppression here, and I'm going to equip it with Sven. So that Sven can Psycast very powerfully if he needs. So if you take a look at the difference of heat here, 168 to 228. That's sort of how many Psycasts he can cast in one go. It's quite a lot now. Trustin is finishing up the throne for himself. which allows me to sell the marble one. And then once I have the materials, which currently I do not, but once I have the materials, we'll set up a slate reliquary. Slave 2 courted Bunny. Now they want to sleep together. Oh boy. Why did you do that, Slave 2? You don't know the history of Bunny. Okay, sacrificed the second, I guess. Yep, this is how it goes. I am going to arrest you. I need a prison spot for it. It's too bad, because I like them as a minor. Bye, sacrificed. In fact, I shouldn't put the reliquary here. It should be in the ritual room. I don't know why I was setting it up here. Maybe I can turn this into a piano nook. So if I am setting up the reliquary somewhere back here, I'm going to want to create the same sort of indentation. And yes, indeed, sacrificed, kept his clothing on. But, which I should have stripped off prior. But I don't think a little bit of clothing is going to be that big of a deal. So Bunny has ripped out the head of Sacrificed. She really is quite the Black Widow. We are going to set up a new head with Trustin. Putting the old skull in here because this room didn't have any skulls and it ought to. And there we are. Sacrificed. Oh, wrong room. Actually. I'll fix that real quick. So now Bunny has a bit of a skull collection going on. She needs to stop flirting with the slaves. We're kind of losing slaves in the colony as a result. But it was a spectacular execution, which is going to help keep these royals happy for just shy of a week. All right, and let's wrap this up because it went a little long. I'm going to have No Luck set us up to retain the heat from our own heaters because we're heading into winter and I want it heated. And the last thing I wanted to do is to get the meditation throne completed. We also just unlocked marine armor, so let's go with slug turrets. So one of the advantages of keeping a relic in a reliquary is it allows pilgrims to pay homage to it, whereas if you use it as equipment, no homage will be paid. So I suppose that's an important difference. Here we have a legendary... Oh, that's very fitting. A legendary throne that Trustin built. And with that, our colony's wealth has hit the 300,000 mark, which means I'm going to be putting up a poll on Discord to determine some of the settings of the next map tile when we proceed the Archonexus. So if you'd want to vote on that, please jump on Discord and take part in that poll. And this, my friends, is where I'm going to leave off. Thank you for tuning in to episode 37 of the Archotechs, Suppression and Sacrifice. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to take part in the poll, which will determine how we proceed in the Archonexus, please join Discord. Rhadamant.com has a link to Discord, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. A special thank you to my Patreon patrons and Twitch subscribers who directly support the channel, and viewers like you that like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so very much. I will catch you next episode. Farewell, Archotechs.